Now, Tron continuing to get more popular. Big mana in general getting popular. You see that all over the metagame. A lot of Tron. Last round, we're seeing Joe Bernal of the world playing, just the Ghost Quarter build of Jund, really respecting the matchup. Do you think it being more up this week is a reaction again to things like Hexproof winning the Pro Tour? Tron's great against Hexproof.
Tron both is great against the Pro Tour winning Lantern Control deck and great against the Grand Prix winning Hexproof deck. Those are both just great matchups for Tron.
Inquisition of Kozilek from Clay shows Oblivion Stone, Fatal Push, World Breaker, and 2 more lands. Now, Brenden has a 1 Tron piece, the Tower in play, and he has the Mine in hand. No way to find the 3rd yet.
It's just on top of the deck. I've played against Tron enough times to know that.
He's going to have it, and he's going to make World Breaker with it, and it's going to stink. You take O-Stone or Fatal Push, whatever.
It's easier to Stubborn Denial Oblivion Stone.
Yeah, I like that thinking. So he takes Fatal Push.
And it looks like Clay does already have Denial in hand.
Yeah, he has Denial and Liliana of the Veil. That's a 2 of in his deck. Once again, if his opponent just finds Tron, and whoops, someone's crying. Whoa!
It was
wow,
tough.
so live. Ryan, how did you know it would be the top card of his deck?
I like to avoid spoilers, but I've seen this one before.
Have you seen this movie?
This is a rerun. I hate that we have to do this to you viewers at home, but this is unfortunately a rerun.
And Clay will be forced actually to make blue mana this turn so that he can counter the just turn 3 Oblivion Stone. And the problem about playing against Tron is so like you think things of, man, I better leave up Stubborn Denial this turn. But Brenden doesn't care if you he'll run it straight into your counter spell, and if you counter it, whatever.
All right. Next, I'll cast this World Breaker. Okay. Exile your land.
Yeah, try to cast through Liliana now.
Which wouldn't even be good if it resolved.
I guess I could make him sack the World Breaker.
And then the World Breaker would come back.
Right now, if Brenden just stopped drawing cards for the rest of the game, I think Clay has him covered.
I think the game would be close.
It's close, yeah. I think he has him covered. He Stubborn Denials the Oblivion Stone. He Liliana minuses away the World Breaker, and it's close. But Clay is going to get to draw cards. He draws Fatal Push. Land 3 here, can make the Oblivion Stone. He doesn't have to run it into the Stubborn Denial, though.
Yeah.
The thing is he gets to choose here, and he doesn't. I like that.
Yeah, just hang on to it. It's fine.
Yeah, there's nothing on the board. You don't need to make Oblivion Stone. And next turn you have 8 mana, so you're not like but I need to be mana efficient argument is kind of what I have a lot of mana.
I could cast every spell in my deck on the same turn.
Yeah. Tron's great.
Clay, I think it's going to try to get a threat online.
Yeah, probably Liliana of the Veil, or maybe his Tarmogoyf. He can make Tarmogoyf and leave up Stubborn Denial, but he knows that next turn it's just World Breaker.
Right.
So Liliana seems bad then. I don't want a Liliana plus. Brenden discards something stupid, then he World Breaks your Liliana. Like, I don't know. I'm not into that.
It's got 2 Teamer Battle Rage in hand.
You play 2. Note on deck building, when you play register 2 of a card, what you're saying is it's a card I really want to draw 1 of, but it's a card I really don't want to draw 2 of. That's generally what I feel like 2 in a fair deck means.
Right.
So, because the numbers work out really well for that. Clay has hit the unfortunate, and it's a small window, but sometimes you do still draw 2 of it. So Tarmogoyf from Clay, leaving up Stubborn Denial, but here's the World Breaker, 5/7. Gonna go ahead and exile away that Overgrown Tomb. Now, Clay can, if he draws a land, Liliana away the World Breaker.
Yeah, that would buy him some time.
Yeah. If he does, Brenden has drawn Ugin. And so, when I was testing Clark Clan Ironworks, because I like to play bad decks, against, sorry, for all you Ironworks fans, go ahead and send me your hate. I still play it. Ugin against the 4-color Jund Shadow deck, my opinion was, if I ever resolved it, they could just... I thought they could never beat the card.
Well, you can just minus exit like 4 times.
Yes, no, I remember thinking like, because I would use something like turn 3 Ironworks, sack everything, make an Ugin was my plan. And in testing, what I found is if I resolved it, the game was over. Resolving it's hard.
So with the way the game is played out, the Tarmogoyf's only a 3/4. If Brenden has another land, he can just make Ugin with pay for Stubborn Denial.
So rather than talking about Ugin, Brenden taps the tower for 3, says play and crack Expedition map, and Clay says I'm done.
Another land?
I can't. My Stubborn Denial stinks. I don't know. I don't want to do this.
Yeah, I was kind of pretending.
Tron.
Yeah, Brenden demonstrated that he was still drawing a card every turn, and Clay had enough.
All right, well, we'll see. Maybe Clay will have some sideboard for this matchup. We'll be back with sideboards in game number 2 in just 1 minute. And we're back here. Brenden McCarley with green-black Tron taking game 1 over 5-color Death Shadow. So Clay Spicklemire, though, he knows his way around a Death Shadow deck. Let's look at his sideboard. 3 Lingering Souls, 2 Disdainful Stroke, 2 Collective Brutality. He does not have any mains. Those are only 2 copies. 2 Engineered Explosives, a Ranger of Eos, a Dispel, a Kozilek's Return, 1 Liliana the Last Hope, 1 Ancient Grudge, and then he has a Godless Shrine in case he wanted to board into the white cards.
So the big hits that are largely here for this matchup and similar ones, those 2 Disdainful Strokes.
Yep, that seems great.
Hit pretty much all the cards that you care about, save for the Tron lands themselves. And then there's some stuff that's borderline. You don't really want to play a terribly grindy game against Tron. So the Ranger, the Lingering Souls, those don't really play here. Liliana Last Hope has kind of the same problem. You might play Dispel just to have more interaction with Fatal Push to try to steal games aggressively.
Yeah, man, if that's your plan, the problem is that those Fatal Pushes in Tron's deck are such a throwaway game plan. You know, they're just there to saying like, well, I'm going to Fatal Push you. If you, like, they're there to kill Goblin Guides, you know?
I liked Dispel against a white Tron because they had Path and Collective Blessing.
Yeah, it's like after turn 3, Tron doesn't even care about their own Fatal Pushes, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, he might do it, you're right.
Clay does need to keep a threat on the board. He does need to get these Dismembers out of his deck.
On Brendan's side, he has a set of Thoughtseize, 2 Thragtusk, 2 Nature's Claim, 2 Warping Whale, a Crucible of Worlds, a Relic of Progenitus. I assume he has some of those in the main as well. A Wormcoil Engine, that'd be his 3rd copy. A Fatal Push, which would be his 4th copy, and then the 3rd Collective Brutality. So a lot of them are extra copies of things he has in the main.
Yeah, like the big stuff. Wormcoil Engine is very good here. Thragtusk is good, not as good, but good enough.
Yeah, it is interesting. In this sideboard, so many of these cards, all those one-ofs, except for the Crucible, are just additional copies of things he's already playing.
Yep. Yeah, you just have kind of main deck stuff that plays everywhere, and then you really hone that when you go into the sideboard games. Fatal Push, certainly good in this matchup.
Yeah, now you mentioned white Tron. Why have I see everybody on green-black Tron now. Collective Brutality and Fatal Push. Your thoughts on why that's the new industry standard?
Collective Brutality is a lot better when your opponent is doing unfair things. Being able to look at their hand, take their cards out. Also, Fatal Push, just generally a stronger card than Path to Exile, especially when you don't care about large creatures, which Tron, they're just going to outpace you if you're trying to play with creatures that cost 5 or more, they can compete with that pretty easily. It's the little creatures that they have to beat.
Hey, Primeval Titan will go toe-to-toe with Karn.
Is Path to Exile going to solve that problem?
No.
All right.
Okay. Fair. I just gotta, you know, I gotta represent my boy there.
Sure. Gotta stay on brand.
Here's Mishra's Bauble from Clay. He'll check his own top card.
Fun exercise for 5-color Shadow players. Keep track of how many Bauble triggers you miss in a tournament. It's going to be some.
I am scared of playing that card for the reason you mentioned. I was just like, oh, I'm going to do it. It's going to happen.
They're really hard to keep track of. It's a bizarre card.
I kind of want to just like bring a twist tie to the tournament and put it on my finger every time. I I want to come up with some really derpy mechanic to try to help to train myself to never forget them.
The way it's set up too, it's the way the card works, where you get that information of seeing the top card of a player's deck. You want to do it as the first part of your turn and gain extra information. And sometimes you take 2 or 3 additional game actions. It's really easy to forget.
See, fetch shocks for Overgrown Tomb. McCarley makes an Urza piece, the mine, into a star. Clay will cycle. Just fetch shocking to hurt his own life total. It's pretty free against Tron to do this.
Yep.
You see a Disdainful Stroke and Stubborn Denial in Clay's hand. So those are the right tools are here. However, without a threat, it's not going to matter.
Yep. He's close. It's not at Death Shadow just yet.
Yeah, passes. He's down to 13. And for Brenden, he will go ahead and crack Star, make green, draws Wormcoil. Second Tron land, it's the power plant, makes Sylvan Scrying. Okay, Stubborn Denial will take care of it.
That is definitely worth a Stubborn Denial, like the play from Clay. You just can't let them assemble Tron and then fight over every haymaker.
Brenden has it in his hand. He's got the tower.
All right, well, that's not good.
That's what I saw it in his hand. It's like, you know he's got it. He didn't even need the Sylvan Scrying.
So, unfortunately for Clay, picked up basic Swamp. It does not enable him to cast Death Shadow, but he sets up Tarmogoyf.
Yep, here's Tower. Boom, 7 mana. Turn 3. Oh, hey, Karn. Oh, no Stubborn Denial this time? All right, kill your thing. I like it when you make the turn 2 Sylvan Scrying, but you already had natural Tron in your hand.
I mean, yeah, it makes sense to run it out there.
That's fun. Clay draws Thought Seizes, Wormcoil, Star, Fatal Push, Relic, Land.
If you weren't down a game, this might be enough to concede.
Well, he can't kill the Karn.
Nope. Can't kill the Karn. Can't take the Fatal Push and the Wormcoil, so he won't be able to really convert Death Shadow.
Oh, you need a 1-man answer to this Karn. Then you got to counter the Wormcoil, and even then you're probably going to lose.
Yep. Yeah, so it's a matchup where you really need to get out in front of the Tron player. And you can see Clay's posturing here, not happy about this position. Takes the Wormcoil, that makes sense. You can fight through having some of your threats killed. Can't fight through Wormcoil Engine.
Plays 2 Death Shadows.
Well,
they're both 2/2s.
Brenden has that on lock. He has Llanowar Waste to cast Fatal Push. He has Karn -3 a second time.
Star, cracks Star, draws a card, Expedition Map. Fatal pushes away. Yep. 1 shadow, 2nd shadow. They're both gone. Relic of Progenitus, Expedition Map, 2 more. He still has that tower, plays a land. Casts Ancient Stirrings.
Multiple Ulamogs in the top 5.
Oh, I'll show an Ulamog. Clay has Disdainful Stroke. I mean, you can counter it if you want.
Yeah, then it would only be 2 Stone Rains.
Clay, yeah, not even going to do it. Clay extends the hand, and Brenden McCarley, he cruises to a 2-0 win with Tron. That was just a beating.